So this video is a part 2 of the colonizer in black skin. We have different types of colonizers, but I'm talking about the colonizer in black skin. And I believe they are the worst. They are the worst because it's your own people and they are sometimes very hard to detect, right? But it's time that we talk about the enemy that is within. That is the colonizer in black skin. The colonizer in black skin has no love for his brother. The colonizer in black skin will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. Yes, that is the colonizer in black skin. In this video, I'm going to cite a few examples so that you can understand. In the last video, I explained how African leaders are so wicked. They are colonizers in black skin. Not just African leaders, but elitists in society as well. Colonizers in black skin. The elitists, they don't have the power for change. So I can't place too much burden on them, but the burden is also on them because they have the power to say something and they don't. When you have proximity to power and you have proximity to the who know what, sometimes you don't want to kill that proximity. So you just stay silent. And once you are silent, you are a part of it.
On the 35th anniversary of a historical pro-democracy protest, police made it clear they didn't want anybody to go into central Nairobi. 7th of July is known as Saba Saba. Rights groups often take to the streets. This year, a widespread expression of anger with the government of President William Ruto. Demonstrators say they're tired of corruption and police brutality, and the high cost of living is fueling discontent.
We wanted peaceful demonstrations, but now tear gas is all over. We can't work. We're being shot with bullets. Ruto should humble himself and listen to Gen Z.
This water cannon truck has been operating along this highway for hours, where angry crowds of protesters have been blocking the road, setting fire to tyres. Police have been responding with tear gas and with the water cannon. And it's a similar story on several of the main roads leading into Nairobi and also in several other towns and cities.
Oh my God!
Rights groups say several people have been killed by gunshot wounds. Here, police drag a body into a police station.
What the government has done over the last few months, if not years, is simply shrinking the civic space. If you recall, just last week, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, who's responsible for police and security in the entire country, issued shoot to kill orders.
This police officer shouts at demonstrators, "I will kill you. I have the permission." The High Court order stating police officers must wear uniforms at demonstrations hasn't stopped the frequent appearance of masked armed men in plain clothes.
So last week, there was a protest in Kenya, maybe a week and a half ago. There was a protest in Kenya. And the protest in Kenya came about because an activist had tweeted something. And when he went in police custody, like he was killed by some strange circumstance, the guy died. So the Kenyan youth hit the streets. There was one video that went viral last week where this kid that was just selling masks for the protesters because of the tear gas and stuff. He was doing his business. They just shot him in cold blood. I can understand when this happens in America, when a white supremacist in a form of an armed cop. But I think African Americans will be very surprised to see a black man can look a black child in the face. Youth, these people are from teenagers to like 20-something-year-old. You can look him in the face and you do not see your son. I wonder where we get this heartless behavior from. How do you do this? And then I don't see how this can happen without the powers that be not being involved. I just don't see how this will happen. Because if the powers that be were not involved, something would have been done. When the African leader decides to harass you, these are some of the things that can happen. Apart from Kenya, there was also something that happened in Nigeria, Benue state. Apparently it's been happening. There were lots of killings and 200 people plus died. In fact, there was a gory video that was done by a social media activist, very dark man. There was a gory video where you can see skulls of people that had been burned, and they believe that it's being caused by Fulani. I really don't know the drama. But the bottom line is that it's almost as if the government don't care. And it's very disheartening because you don't see that person as your son. Your son is wearing Versace. Your son is in school in London. Your son, you do not see them as your son. And they didn't say anything about it until this social media activist went and videoed this thing and went viral. And it looks like right now the youth in Benue state are rising because this thing has been going on for a long time. But this is just an example of the wickedness of our African leaders. African leaders, we don't have anybody in this world. Your children do not have anybody in the West. They don't have anybody. Nobody cares that your father is president. What? Nobody cares in America. Nobody cares in Europe. The black colonizer is worse than the original. He doesn't just rob you. He silences your scream. He buries you and tweets about peace. The prejudice in the West that crashes the poor will chase your grandchildren tomorrow. And this is a very, very serious thing. You are not free from imperialists. If you are in a position of power, why don't you create a society where your children don't have to flee? Your grandchildren don't have to flee. Because let me tell you something. Children might be okay in the West. Have you thought about your grandchildren? When your children are dead and gone and nobody knows their name, they'll be working at Home Depot and car parks. They'll be working at places that you will turn in your grave. African leaders, we like living for today too much without thinking about the legacy that we are going to leave for our people. So this is a message to African leaders. African leaders, you have learned to use their whip, but you didn't learn to build the infrastructure. You rule like them, but your people are dying. Africa will rise, but not with you and your mentality in the way. This is the Afritude movement, where we bring what is done in the dark to light. If you are new here, my name is Nina, and I'm the designer for a clothing brand, Koshio. I'm known as making the best African luxury, especially men's shirt. I was known for that. But I recently started the Afritude movement where I'm using streetwear as a medium to tell our stories, because I know fashion can get into spaces that videos can't. We're telling our own stories and we're changing the narrative through fashion. So that's what I do. But I'm here and I just blabber mouth about what's going on in the continent and how we can bring change to make it better. So if you like this, subscribe, stick around, and this is the Afritude movement.